Images of the Chicago Lakefront Path typically involve a beautiful summer day with stunning views of Lake Michigan and downtown Chicago. The beaches are filled and throngs of people are out on the path engaging in all manners of recreational activities. Longtime Chicagoans know that these types of days are the exception in this city by the lake. Summer gives way to a surprisingly long fall riding season that extends into November. However, winter comes unsuddenly in Chicago with conditions that make cycling challenging and oftentimes impossible. The picture-perfect lakefront path becomes a cold and windswept terrain with few people out amidst the harsh conditions. This video offers a look at winter riding on the lakefront path. The entire 18-mile path is explored and shows viewers what to expect on a ride on Chicago's lakefront path in the winter months.
It's December in Chicago, and I'm already sick of my indoor trainer. So today, we're going for a bike ride on the lakefront path. We're going to go to the south end, to the north end, and back. And we're going to check out winter in Chicago.
The lakefront path has a completely different vibe in the winter months when the ground is covered in snow and the color green has been completely eliminated. Boats are gone in the harbors and the number of people out is reduced by over 90%. What was recently such a populated part of Chicago is now rather desolate, and those out braving the elements have a lakefront path largely to themselves. Plowed snow lines the path, and obstacles such as puddles, ice patches, and mounds of salt necessitate a more attentive form of cycling. Despite the challenges, the lakefront path is maintained and open for recreational use throughout the winter. The most critical element of riding in winter is clothing choices that will keep riders warm and comfortable. As temperatures fall below 30 degrees, this becomes hard to accomplish. However, temperatures above 30 are manageable with the right gear. Fingers and toes will get cold most easily and are hard to warm up once a frozen feeling sets in. Therefore, warm gloves and waterproof shoe covers are a wise choice.
So I made it to the southern terminus of the lakefront path, and just in terms of gear, what I have, gloves and boot covers. Those are the biggest things. Your extremities are what gets coldest, fingers and toes. And if anything, they kind of get colder as you go, they don't warm up. So keeping those as warm as possible is key. But overall, it's like 35 degrees, a little bit sunny. Crosswind, a little bit in my face, more or less staying warm. It's just good to be outside. So, on to the north side.
A head cover will keep the ears and neck warm, and goggles will help shield the eyes from the wind. Wool socks and a thermal layer beneath the riding clothes are the final element that should keep riders warm and comfortable in temperatures around the freezing point. Observant eyes will notice subtle changes along the lakefront path in winter. This can add some surprises to the ride and make the braving of the elements worth the hassle. On this ride, lake levels were quite low and the shipwreck on Morgan Shoal was unmistakably visible. Morgan Shoal lies off of 49th Street Beach on the south side of the path. It is a limestone reef that lies just below the surface of the lake between 45th and 50th Street. In July of 1914, the SS Silver Spray ran aground on Morgan Shoal, and attempts to dislodge the vessel were unsuccessful. The wood elements of the boat broke away, however the rear boiler of the ship remains to this day, and has become increasingly visible in recent years.
This is pretty cool. There's this shipwreck. It's off of Morgan Shoal. All the wood of the ship is long gone, but the steam engine of it still is there, stuck on the. It's like kind of like right there. It's stuck on the rocks, and usually for a few years it was way underwater, and then all this summer it was sticking out a little bit. But right now it's sticking up about a foot. It's unmistakable. So pretty cool seeing the shipwreck on Morgan Shoal.
The path is maintained throughout the winter for riding and is largely clear of snow and ice.
Amateur tip, when you come across some slush and snow on the path, slow down. I didn't, and I wiped out right behind me. So, it's the adventure of winter riding.
The city relies on a copious amount of salt to clear the snow and ice. Consequently, riders can expect a constant sound of salt crunching beneath their bike tires. Bikes become covered in salt, and riders should expect to have a bike in dire need of a thorough wash upon the completion of their ride.
One thing worth pointing out, there is a ton of salt on this trail. My bike, it's absolutely trashed. So it's going to be due for a big cleaning when I get home.
The main lakefront path is open for recreational use along the entire 18 miles from the south end to the north end. Secondary paths along the water are not cleared of snow and ice and are not suitable for cycling.
All right, looks like I'm gonna have to improvise. I don't blame them for closing this portion. 20 years ago, I used to bike to work down here, and there was one ice storm where it was treacherous. People almost were falling in the lake. It was so bad, right around the S-curve. So we're gonna bike around this.
On the day of this ride, the stretch north of Ohio Street Beach and along the S-curve was closed to cyclists and not cleared of snow and ice. This 3/4 mile stretch is pitched towards the water and presents a distinct possibility of riders slipping on the ice and sliding over the seawall and into Lake Michigan.
Sometimes you wonder why you live in Chicago. We've got like 3 more months of this. Freezing cold, it gets dark at 4:30. But I don't know. Gonna have to sneak away to somewhere warm soon.
One of the most visually striking elements of the lakefront path in winter is the topography of beaches as the winter progresses. Floating ice in the water, sloshing around at the shoreline, offers interesting visuals that replace waves reaching the shore. As winter progresses and the freeze deepens, ice increases and builds along the shorelines, making the beaches unrecognizable, and they more resemble a lunar terrain than a sand-covered beach.
Made it to the northern terminus. Now I gotta turn around. About 8 more miles back to downtown. I think I got enough light left in the day to do that. So, conclusion to a good ride. And that's a wrap. 36 miles on Chicago's Lakefront Path in the dead of winter. It's not the same as summer, but it's an experience. So get out and bike.
Winter in Chicago is long, and chances to ride outside can be few and far between. While cycling outside presents challenges, it also offers unique perspectives and experiences that can only be had in the winter months. So consider bundling up and braving the elements for a ride along Chicago's Lakefront Path in the winter months. You may get battered by the elements, but you will show yourself to be stronger than the weather and get in some outdoor exercise in an Arctic setting.